Hi, welcome back to Season 2, the IM4GOD movement. I'm Charcy Curtis. Some of you may know me as Suza Diva. For those that just tuning in, you have to go back and check out Season 1. You don't want to miss anything. Some of you may be asking the question, what is this podcast all about? It's all about to help someone out there to understand that what God did in the Bible, He's doing today. And hopefully it can help someone. So we have live testimonies. So you don't want to miss anything. And today, I have a special guest. Oh, let me back it up a little bit. For those who's been asking questions about YouTube, we have that coming. So check us out real soon with the YouTube. Getting back to the podcast. Today, we have a special guest, someone that been with IM4GOD movement from day one just about. She's the one that is behind the website and the Instagram and all the social media stuff. I call her Gigi. I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself. She got so many hats, y'all. And it's like my little, I call her like a daughter to me. So I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself. Gigi, tell her a little bit about yourself, what you got going on.
Hello, guys. My name is Gianna Moet Palmer of GiannaTheBrand.com. And like Charcy said, I was here kind of like in the beginning, helping her pretty much bring the vision to what God wanted to be. All the new school type stuff, like digital stuff that all the young kids can do. That's pretty much what I was doing. YouTube or Instagram, your flyers, your banners, all graphic design is pretty much what I do, hands-on, behind the scenes, website, shipping and all that other stuff. And so yes, that's who I am, guys.
And how can they get in contact with you?
Oh, so you can get in contact me for all marketing and graphic design services at GiannaTheBrand.com or contact me through my social media account.
And y'all, we met, we was doing at the beauty shop a mommy makeover.
Right.
And she, her mom got elected or whatever. And from there, our plan and God plan is totally different. Things went from, her mama getting her mommy makeover to I end up hiring her daughter, like called her my daughter, And, God had plans that we didn't have no kind of way what about. Even to this podcast, God, that's another story. We will get with y'all about that, how the podcast even started. That's God's plan too, not mine. But most importantly, it's all about what He got going on.
Exactly.
So, because that's the big thing. He's in control of everything. And even with the Gianni with the podcast, with the brand, what would you say you say about far as, to look back to where we started and to where it's at now? I didn't see it again.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming this far. Going back to how it started, I was actually in the process of at a deep, dark place in my life where I was ready to commit suicide. And I also lost one of my favorite jobs, which was working at Chick-fil-A, which sounds so funny. But I love that job. And so I was kind of like in the transition of like what to do next. And I knew that YouTube, I always wanted to be, this is when like YouTubers were like real big and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And I was trying to get you to do a YouTube channel. And you called me in the next day, and I came the next day, and I'm thinking I'm about to do YouTube. And she was like, nope, here goes my website. Can you do this for me? And it was just so funny how at that time, I didn't even really know a lot about websites. I just took like a little quick class at school.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it was just so good, and I guess it came naturally. And that was the start of like my actual career of me finding my gift and my talent. And just from there, I realized, I remember talking to God, and I was just like, God, is this what I'm supposed to do? And He was like, yeah, this your ministry. And just as like you were saying, this was your ministry. So just from seeing that, the growth in ministry, from then, it most definitely made me buckle down more with my faith and stuff like that. Because I don't want to be a person who's sitting here talking about faith and I'm not living that faithful walk.
Right. Because even with the brand, I know it gets you some time even now, working with the brand.
Right.
Times you may think about doing certain things.
For sure.
You have to check yourself.
For sure. It's that reminder that it keeps you solid in your faith. And it's also not even just the brand itself, just working with anybody that's surrounded with God or has God involved in anything that they're doing makes you just want to tighten up for God and for the image of being a Christ believer.
Right. Can you give them a little episode of when your first time you realized God was real?
Okay, so when I was younger, we can go back to the very first time I really experienced that. I was in a car accident in the car. I was with a family friend and was in a van and was on Rayford Road. And if you've never been on Rayford Road, it's this little street that you go across, and it's like busy. So there's no lights or anything. So it's pretty much just you're driving at your own risk. And we was clear, and so we thought, and another person was coming 100 miles per hour while we're turning and threw us in a ditch. And I just thought I lost my whole life then. And we was in a minivan and it like flipped over and actually fell into a ditch. And I was just like, God, like, I know you got to be real, because I'm coming out with no bruises, no scratches, no nothing. And so that was kind of like my first encounter with God.
Everything that is out here, though.
Yeah.
Like, is it anything out there that you would like to even tell, as far as your generation or anything, like,
Pretty much that God is real, and this is what you see is what you get pretty much with anything as in life. And when I say that, I mean when you go through those hard times, have somebody or have something that's going to keep you grounded in your faith. And even if you don't have faith yet, build and just keep those questions that you have, if God's real or if not. Those are normal. It's natural to have those questions. But it's not natural for us to have those questions and not try to find answers and just completely leave God away. I was just talking to my brother. He was having the same conversation, and he was like, I believe in God. It's just those questions that I still have. Like, I'm questioning, are you real? Are you not real? And I was just saying, like, it's good to keep yourself surrounded with people who are like-minded. And having like-minded friends and family to just, like, talk about certain questions. And eventually God is going to give y'all something to go into the Bible and is going to answer your question. Or he's going to give you a revelation through somebody that answers the questions that you have. And he's always going to show himself. God said, when two are gathered in my name, I come in the midst. And so he's always going to show himself with anything anything that's surrounding him and that is purely dedicated to him. So yeah, those questions that you may have, or if you are questioning if God is real, I just say that keep those questions, but also keep bringing them to God and try to find like-minded friends who do believe in God, so that you can talk about those questions with. Yeah,
because you get a distraction if you don't.
You get a distraction, and if you go seeking and go looking for other things, the devil would like to shine himself up and make himself look good.
Oh yeah, that's what he do. He goes back to them deep seeking, like, oh, you remember this? We like da 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 da, and you get distracted and you be on the wrong path. And we was talking one time, and you had brought something up that was really, you hit head on about parenting. How you should actually tell when a child asks you, a question about something, you should address it, because if not, the social media or somebody else might tell them the answer to it, and it's not even what you want to address to your child. Tell me a little bit about that episode.
So when we was having that conversation, a little bit about my testimony is that something traumatic happened to me at a young age, and it's common nowadays, I guess, to say that this experience happened to a lot of people. And I don't know the age group that's watching this, but I'm just going to be honest. The spirit of perversion is very strong in any generation. And so, and it's worse nowadays because you got it in the TV shows, you got it in commercials. Everywhere. The spirit of perversion is very real. And so now that I'm older, I'm able to understand why I went through what I went through. And simply stating, I'm just going to say what happened. Something happened in my household. I left me question. And I wasn't about to talk to my mom about that and ask her that question. And if I did bring that to her, parents would be like, that's nothing, just don't worry about it. They wouldn't really hit dead on what it is, to even make that child feel like, okay, I don't need to search no more. I found an answer. You don't always have to be direct with the answer. You can just pretty much kids are so vulnerable, they're going to believe anything you say. So you can make up a story and they're going to be like, okay, that's it, as long as they have that answer. I didn't have that answer, so I went to go search to my friends who were older than me, and they told me what to do to find my answer and everything like that. And because because my mom wasn't aware of her actions or my parents at the time, it allowed me to go searching and learn from the world. And that caused a whole bunch of issues. Not like a whole bunch, but it caused some issues for me growing up because I was exposed to something that I wasn't supposed to be exposed to as a child. And now that I'm older, I'm going back to deal and heal with those situations. And so, like I was telling you, it's important as a parent for us to have those conversations. You might think that your child is young. Trust me, your kid is not young, because there's somebody at school or in their environment who are talking about it. Not even just that. Kids have access to social media nowadays. Right. So it's easy for them to figure out and find out stuff that you probably be like, man, you're too young to even know about that. Right. And so making sure that communication level is there for them to feel comfortable to talk to you about anything is very important. Yeah, so basically just for the most part, give them some type of answer. Some type of answer, but you don't want to make it a lie. Because if you lied to them, then when they get older, they're gonna be like, "You lied to me," and that's gonna cause a whole other issue. Just put it very PG-13 or whatever it is. Explain to them the repercussions of if they do further those actions. Just because a curious mind, the devil loves a curious mind. Oh yeah, definitely. That's his best playground. That's his best playground, and somebody that is a child who thinks and who's so observant. And I say this younger generation, I kind of relate to them because that's how I was when I was younger. They're super smart for their age. So for them being so smart, it's easy for them to just make up something or get their, my grandma called it being a busybody. It's easy for them to become a busybody and get involved in something that most likely can cost their life later on in the future. Yeah. It's so funny because now that I look back, when I say y'all, we had our ups and downs. I love this. I call it little girl. She got grown to death because she had about 10 different hats. She gonna do this, she gonna do that. And I was like, calm down. Just figure out, focus on one thing that you may like, and then let that go, and then go to the next thing. But you can't do it all. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to just take your time and really realize what's your real niche. And like she said, she didn't even really, the website thing wasn't even hers, but then that was her gift. That's something that she can do with her eyes closed or whatever. And once again, like we said, our plan ain't always our plan. Right. God's plan is different than ours. But the whole focus was us. We were saying was just make sure things. Be careful of things you do around your kids. We all are guilty of that. And if best way you can, explain it to them. What I'm saying? Don't think, oh, they too young, because they're gonna ask somebody. And you might not like what they answer come back. So just give them some type of something instead of just leave them out there just to search. Because we both know it's so much out there, and you can't blame nobody but yourself. But Giovanni, is there anything you want to, besides, I know I asked you, is nothing else you would like to tell your generation? Because, y'all, I feel like y'all all over the place, I don't think that we're all over the place. I just think we're a generation where, if you go back and look, the generations before, it's like our parents. I'm not old. My mama's not old. She's still young. She's like your generation, still young. Y'all kind of like more exposed a little bit. Y'all parents more conservative and more hush and keep everything in the house. Where now for us, my generation, we're like, why keep secrets? And keeping those secrets really cause a lot of issues regardless of what kind of ethnic background you come from or anything. Keeping secrets in the family causes a lot of issues. And so I just would like to say that as a younger generation, for the older generation to understand how the younger generation thinks, we think of more than just one solution. And we see things more we see things from all different kind of view because we are so open-minded, and we're the type of people, we ask questions, so we like to go searching for certain things. And y'all might think that we are crazy and out of control. Yeah. I just think that we're not. I just think that we realize that we would not deal with some of the stuff that the older generation dealt with by just keeping stuff hush-hush or not talking about it. Like mental health is a big thing. And a lot of young kids have a lot of mental health issues. And not even young kids, but it stems from the household and their parents as well. And, that wasn't big or nothing that really was talked about in the Black community for a really long time. Now it's becoming more popular. But for the younger generation, I do want to say that using your mental health issue as a cover-up, as a joke, is not okay. Using it, saying like, oh, I'm so depressed or something like that because of whatever may happen, that's nothing that you want to take little or light, because that's just giving the room for the devil to play with. If you give him a little bit, you could just say it one time and he's going to take it and run with it. And they're going to be like, man, I didn't really mean that. And I learned that from one time I was in middle school, and I posted on Facebook. I was like, I wanted to kill myself or something like that. And the parent actually came up to the school being nosy.
No,
but
y'all think it's nosy, but it's serious.
Right, and it was good that she did that. She actually printed off the little post and she came to the school and she told them to contact my mom. And me at the time, I was just saying that like I was going through a lot, but I really didn't mean it. I ended up being in the psychiatric ward in the hospital for a whole day, and that really drove me crazy because I'm like, I'm not a crazy person, but this is really gonna make me be crazy. And I realized like taking those little jokes, or not even, they're called cries for help.
Right.
And I think a lot of our generation is calling for a cry for help.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. What would you tell somebody to even consider as far as like, thinking as far as suicide or anything? What could help them?
You might not be able to figure out, or you might not be able to see the now, but if you stay on earth and you see the future, or you live for the future, you're gonna look back, because there's days I look back and I'm just like, wow, like I really had a life, or I really could have ended my story there. Now I wouldn't have been able to have a business. I wouldn't have been able to make an empire for generations after me, pretty much, or even help anybody else that's going through that. And a lot of times I realize that kids that are so suicidal, you don't have an outlet. Right. I do want to reach my hand out for anybody that's going through that. Feel free to contact me any way possible through my website, Instagram, Facebook, to contact me, and we can talk about that. And what I feel like what we talk about is just between us. Right. If you do feel that urge, or you get that feeling of like, I can't just take it, I'll pray with you. It might sound corny. I'm trying to tell you, I thought it was corny all the time, praying every little bit. We used to talk about my mom, because when she got her life back to Christ, it was always Jesus this, Jesus that, Jesus this. Now I understand why, because once you get into that relationship with God and you grow that relationship, it's like, Lord, I don't want to lose this relationship no more. Like I want to grow it as much as I can. So anything that displeases him is just like, you don't want to do it no more. No, and getting into that foundation with Christ, or just listening to the word, or just try to read the Bible, because I was a person that didn't really like reading the Bible, but when I would try, that must definitely help with my thoughts, because when you give the devil room to play with your mind and its negativity, he's gonna play with it. So if you feed your brain with the word, there's no room for him to come. Now he might come up there and try, but it's just not going to work, because God's word is more powerful than the devil. Yes,
you ain't tell nothing but the truth. That's why I said be careful what you say, because your mouth is real powerful.
Most definitely.
But it's one thing for most is to get your own relationship with God. Once you get that relationship with him, can't nobody take it away from you. You have a whole different walk, talk, everything. And like I said, I thank you again for coming.
Of course.
You have to come back again.
Of course. I do want to say one thing, though. We talk about getting the relationship with Christ. I want to tell them how to get the relationship with Christ. And some people say, I might not be able to pray, or I don't know how to pray. And you might not know how to pray, but you know how to talk.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
And it's the same exact thing. Getting that relationship right. Some quick little story I just saw on TikTok. Somebody was like, what if I gave you 66 love letters? Or what if you gave the person that you love 66 letters for them to read of how much they love you, and they don't read them? How would you feel?
Right.
And I was like, man, that kind of hit me a little too hard, because it's like God gave us 66 books for us to read, and we don't read them, but we claim we love him.
Right.
And so reading that word is so important, because it's going to give you the clarification that you need.
Right.
For anything that you go through. So that's how you start your relationship, spending some time with him, throw on some worship music, find some good worship songs, just spending 15 minutes. That's all. 15 minutes that start off is a start. And that's exactly how you start and build that relationship. One day it goes 15 minutes, try next month, all right, I'm gonna get him 30 minutes. Like, just keep elevating and keep increasing your time that you spend with God, and you watch your blessings come.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And for those, I would thank you for joining in with us, and you have to come back another time.
Of course, I will.
We have to chat or whatever, because this movement, only God knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
But thank you, y'all, for tuning in, and thank you for followers, because if it went for y'all, we wouldn't be here for second season. So tune in and make sure you stay in tune with us with the YouTube and everything else, and check out that website, IM4GOD.com. And thank you again. See you next time.